This makes my 428th TikTok, and so I wanted to go over things I've done here and goals I've had and goals I now have. So I started out just exploring MBTI. I had looked at it on YouTube, which is personality typing. One of the things that got me interested in that particular subject was because I saw a connection between personality and biblical typing. If you want to understand what you read in the Bible and you want to understand or know yourself better, I found felt there was a connection there. But I didn't agree entirely with MBTI, so I had to study it and try to understand it first on its own. What is personality typing? And then I kind of learned that MBTI is not really personality typing; it's personality stereotyping. And so I thought, well, that's not really good thing. We people today stereotype each other. And so I started to notice that my thoughts ran in different directions. That really I thought MBTI claims to be about archetypes. And when you study the Bible, you read about Moses and you read the stories of Jesus as he told them in the scriptures. He's describing archetypes. These are typology in the Bible is a study of archetypes, and it's not just limited to the Bible, but it could be studies of archetypes, and typology is a universal subject about words and language and how we use words. So let me give you a simple example. Stupid. You might say, well, people are stupid, but what does that stupid means? You can look that word in the dictionary, or you can look it up. What that word is in other languages. For example, in Spanish, it's bruto for men and bruta for women. Women are bruto, and bruto is someone who is really stubborn. And so a stubborn person is stupid. It's not doesn't have the same meaning necessarily as you read in Webster's dictionary because the meaning is in the usage of the word, how a word is used. And so you have to learn certain skills before you can really study archetypes. You have to understand language and how words are defined by the way you use words or language. For example, in the Bible, in typology in the Bible, in, uh, it said that God said that the people were stiff necked people. Those that tried to follow Moses in the desert, they were stiff necked people. That's another word expression for stupid. They were stupid. Now, of course, that doesn't mean they were stupid people, that they were resistant, you might say, to God's leading and God's direction and God's offer for help. And being stiff necked literally means that, like an ox or an animal, when it freezes up, you kind of pull the dog, you're taking a dog for a walk, and the dog doesn't want to go for a walk, so it starts to stiffen its body, stiffens its neck. And what does that do? It makes it hard to lead the dog and to take it where the dog would go. And so people can be that way too. They can say, "Oh yeah, you're right," and then they kind of act in that they resist you. And through their resistance, you can see their spirit or their attitude and how their attitude limits their ability to respond because they're stiff necked, you see. And so words have are concepts, and concepts are abstractions. They're ideas, but they're specific ideas that relates to how words are used. It's the same with numbers. Numbers are concepts. There's numbers can be words applied any number of ways. You can talk about 5 bananas, 5 cats, five of anything. And so the number five itself has only meaning in how the word five is used. Same applies with language. Words signify things, and what the word signifies, you have to look for the context of the word. And so I start with not with a dictionary when I want to study typology, but I start by looking up the origin of etymology. It's called etymology. So you just look up a word and write down etymology of the word. And then which is basically how did the word come to be used the word as a word. in the first place. And so when you study etymology, that leads to the subject of typology, which is that words sometimes that have similar sounds also share similar meanings, like mother, father in English, madre, padre in Spanish, sound kind of similar. Mother, father, madre, mother, father, padre, you see. So a lot of these words come, that's because a lot of words come from the Latin. Now, what does that have to do with the Bible? Well, the Tower of Babel really is the story about man one time had had a one language, and God divided men, the languages of men. So as men start to use words in different to signify different things, meaning that God confused the languages or allowed the languages to be men to be confused by in their own understanding of the reality and of the word, then they became divided. And so that's the state of the world today. And the Tower of Babel is the story I'm referring to. And that's the origin. The word Babel means confusion. And the Tower of Babel was really where Babylon came to be, and that you read in the book of Genesis, the first and last book in the Bible, is a story about the world, how the world's evolving. And so I also see there's, as you study typology, it helps you understand the world around you and how words are used even today. And so I had to kind of explore this stuff for myself. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to call it INFJ Survival Guide. I still think about that. I'm still working on that concept of INFJ, but I moved on to my own system of typology, which I call my type method, which is targeted approach to enhance personality performance. Type. Or the 12 gates method, because there's a certain connection to the Bible and the way we are influenced in our lives can be influenced through our own bodily needs, personality, our soul, and our spirit within us. Man being a tripart being, we have conflicted within, divided within ourselves as much as we're divided in the world and with each other. And so I started gradually changing my profile and my description here in TikTok, which I now think fits much more my interest in general, which is I'm a social music critic as much as I am anything else, because in my practical life, as you'll see, my last video was a radio interview I did a few years ago. I'm trying to describe things because that's my first interest in personality typing. Just comes through practical experience of teaching that you see that people learn differently, they respond differently, and they perceive the world differently. And yet the world is what it is, but most of the time we're kind of making shit up, to be real direct with you, including myself. So to really take the Bible says, take the speck out of your brother's eye, you have to remove the mote which in your own eye, the things that blind your perception, the things that don't allow you to see things more truly and honestly, are the very things that affects your goals and your desires and mission and purpose in life. And so I may take a break because now I think I've kind of said more or less in 428 videos, just generally what my views are. But I want to condense my comments, limit them to specific things that I can explore and with other people, that I can explore with you, perhaps in the form of a book, something that's more straightforward and easier to read, and for those that share those my interests, that then I can share my that with you. But in the meantime, I may stop for a while on my videos, but I am always thinking of you and just taking that mote out of my own eyes, so maybe I can do something for other people as well. Thank you very much. Bye.